Welcome to Buddha's in Your Landfill. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. I started this morning off with a roar, getting insights from the new Niki Hero, Kaepernick. I tried to write Kaepernick in the title on my iPad here, but the Facebook autocorrect wouldn't let me write it. It kept coming up with Keepernick. There's something else. So anyway, it's Kaepernick, the new Niki Hero. And so I've been writing about this morning. That's how I get these talks. I get a stimulation, I get stimulated, an insight comes, and it flows out, and then I want to give a talk on it. So there's quite a bit of dialogue connected with this talk. And so let's take a look at a theme that we've been working with here, if you follow me, and that is the Church of Consumerism. You have to realize that consumerism is a religion. And it really came into full bloom with the advent of TV in the 50s. And I was just watching this weekend the story of Cool, I think it was, but it was about advertising and the great ads that changed everything. And the first one that really caught my attention was that when the 50s was in full bloom and all these manufacturers, these brands were creating consumers, because the factories that built tanks were now building washing machines, and they had to find a way to for consumers to buy what they really didn't need. But it was an age of conformity, the 50s. Everybody wanted to be the same. Everybody wanted to have the new car. Everybody wanted to have the product that was the next best thing. So it was an age of conforming. But then along came Volkswagen. Now, Volkswagen, about 58, 59, in that area, was a German car designed by Hitler. A little bug. How do you get people to buy a bug when everyone else is buying huge American monsters with the fins and the chrome and the power and all that? Who's going to buy a bug? Well, the advertising came out with the unique idea is sell rebellion. Think small. And it also made fun of the car. Well, there's a little bug, a little car with a toy knob on the back, like a wind-up, or a page, a blank page with a little teeny Volkswagen down there. Think small. So it was selling rebellion. It was selling uniqueness. Be different. And this has been the theme of advertising. Steve Jobs, think different. Don't go with the PC man. Don't be an IBM man. Don't conform to the man. Don't conform to Big Brother. Be unique. Be a natural man. Be an Apple man. See how this works? So Nike has been a genius in this too. So I just noticed that today, or this weekend, with timely, in that McCain is being put in the Mount Olympus of American heroes as the maverick, the unique character, the character man, the rebel, the maverick, you see. And so Nike comes out with the new face of Nike as Kaepernick, who believe in something, and you're willing to sacrifice everything for what you believe. Now that's a rebel. Sacrifice everything for what you believe. And of course, Kaepernick is a symbol of that. Excuse me. Because he sacrificed career, fame, and money for a cause, you see. And the more people that hate him, the higher he goes. It's the more people, and so Nike, of course, is selling Nike shoes to mostly black people. So the more people that try to stone Kaepernick is going to make the Nikes more valuable. That's the way it goes. So, but let's take a look at how the Church of Consumerism works. You really need to understand that since we're in this church. It's a secular church, but it really is the church of our secular capitalistic economy. And this is the way it works. I'll give you a little secret, you see. The priests don't want you to know how it works. So the two commandments of our culture, which must be obeyed, are contradictory. They cancel each other out. The first commandment is to be unique. Be the one. Trump ran on that. Number one. You know that finger? Be the one. But also belong. Become a part of something greater than you. Sacrifice for the greater good. But be the one. But be the many. Be the one. How can you be the one and the many at the same time? You can't. This is a contradictory, self-canceling commandment. It's like, try to be spontaneous. Spontaneous is not trying. So if you try to be spontaneous, you go, you become paralyzed. You can't get out. This is called a nervous breakdown. It's a neurosis. We all experience this when we can't choose. I have martini glasses here, and a couple will come in, and I'll say, pick one. Oh, we get to pick up. Oh, and the woman will usually connect. Oh, I want that one. I grab that. And the man is like, so I can't pick one. And the wife will say, oh, here, honey, how about this one? Oh, thank you, that's the one. That's just right. You see? Hurt Locker was all about that. Remember that movie? There were so many boxes of cereal, he couldn't choose one. So he just grabbed one. Fuck it. He just did it. Nike. Just grab it. That breaks the paralysis of not being able to choose. That breaks the paralysis of the pairs of opposites. That breaks the paralysis of the contradictory commandments, which is be unique. But don't worry. But what will people think? You see that problem? What will people think if you're unique? What will people think if you step out of the herd? What will people think if you're different? What will people think if you dare to be who you are? Oh. So that's the neurosis, the conflict, the trap in the pairs of opposites, Scylla and Charybdis of Ulysses. This is in all the mythology. The pair, Moses, how do you get through the Red Sea? The pairs of opposites. Well, you just do it. How do you get past the gargoyle? How do you get back to the Garden of Eden that's being guarded by the cherubs with the sword? Well, you just do it. You don't think about it, you just do it. How do you become creative? You just do it. How do I speak on this? How do I speak here? I just do it. The moment I think about, oh, what will you think? I'm lost, you see. So the church of the consumerism is built on this contradiction. Be the one and be part of the many, a group. How do we do that? How do we obey both at the same time? We have to, but we can't. Well, you belong to a unique group. You belong to a group that is a rebel. You belong to a rebellious group. You belong to the chosen group. You belong to the group that dares to be different. That way, you get to belong to a group and you get to be different. So, you buy a Nike. Now you belong, now you are Kaepernick. You see, now you are Satan, the rebel. Now you are the one. But yet you're still the many, because you're not the only one wearing the Nike. You know, people like you, rebels like you, are all together as a rebel group. Bravehearts, you see. So this is a rebirth of the one. That is spiritual rebirth. You see, the first birth, how are we doing with time? The first birth is when we're born into, physically born into as an infant, then we become a person, and then we belong to the family, and the father introduces you to your culture, your religion. You go to church, you belong to Republicans or Democrats or whatever, your local family, your culture, you belong to that. But then there is a second birth. The second birth is a spiritual birth. And of course, religion provides you baptism, the Baptist, that provides you the ritual for the second birth. But what you're really being born into is that religion. So you get to be a unique one while belonging to a unique denomination of Christianity. Baptist, Presbyterian, all of these are unique denominations, you see. Then you kind of like hold to that as the one, you see. So this is a birth of a new being. But then consumerism, through the alchemy of advertising, transmutes this spiritual desire for rebirth by attaching it to, through the alchemy of an ad, to a product. So be the rebel plus a shoe. It's just a shoe. How many shoes can you wear at the same time? It's just a shoe, but it becomes a Nike. A Nike's not a shoe. A Nike is not just a shoe. A Nike is potent. A Nike gives you the feeling of being a new birth. Hermes was the god with the flying shoes. You become a god. You can fly. You can do it, you see. You can do it. You can break out of the neurosis of the 2 commandments that cannot be obeyed. You just do it, you see. And so this is a sacrament. The Nike then becomes a sacrament in the church of consumerism, because if you buy the Nike, now it could be any product, Old Spice, whatever, Calvin Klein, all of these products offer you the illusion of being born again. And the peace and freedom from the tension of the 2 commandments that you cannot obey, but you must. So buying new products then becomes a compulsion, a ritual in the church of consumerism, because first of all, it doesn't offer final rebirth. It's a temporary rebirth. You get the glow of the Nike for a while, but then you need something else. The tension comes back, you see. The tension returns. So you need another product. So that keeps us buying stuff in the church of consumerism. There's nothing wrong with this. It works. I mean, we can't, you can't just destroy the economy. But you have to understand it. You have to see through it. You have to learn from it. It can give you wisdom if you understand the operating system of the church of consumerism. And then you can buy a Nike if you want, but at least you don't buy it with the idea of being reborn again. You see, because that is a temporary glow. That is a temporary go, because otherwise you're going to be caught in the compulsive ritual of consumerism, which is just buying new products in the illusion that it will relieve permanently the tension of the 2 commandments that cannot be obeyed at the same time. Okay, enough for this morning. Thanks for dropping in. Go to my page and you can, when you see this talk, read the comment that is flowing out of this insight, because insights give energy. Insights give insights. And it's always, for me, a rolling insight. It keeps expanding and growing and understanding. Once you open understanding, you can't stop it. Thanks for dropping in.